So good evening and welcome to week 10 of the Neural Science for Engineers. The course instructor is Professor Vikas V from Nimhans, Bangalore, and I am the PMRF teaching assistant Vikas Pandit from IIT Jodhpur. This is a brief about me. So, in continuation with the previous week, today also we'll start with a summary of the lecture. So, in this week, body movement is covered. So, if we define what is the movement, movement is how humans interact with the environment, primarily through our skeletal muscles. Like we have a we have a structure, and this structure is due to the skeleton we have. Okay, so and on the skeletal bones we have muscles over them. Okay, so what is mostly covered in this case is uh, neural muscular connections, information transmission, and muscle function. Am I audible and you are able to get me right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And also we have seen the overview of control system within muscles and basic level control. Okay. So what is this neuron to muscle connection? Not contraction. It will be connection. Connection. Okay. So neural link from muscle fiber uh, neural link to muscle fiber, these are uh, these are connected through generating signals, or we can say we have learned about action potential and these things. Now we are well aware of these things, right? So these are this is the way how signals get transmitted from neuron to the muscle fiber. So signals within the neuron needs to synaptic activity and neurotransmitter release, okay, into the muscle. And then, as you might remember, that we had one question that what is the role of calcium in muscle contraction? So muscle activation occurs through the depolarization. It is we can say still a chemical path, chemical ionic path that plays the role here. There is a linear pathway from neuron to neuromuscular junction to muscle contraction. No, like in case of vision and auditory information, we saw that it was non-linear in more nature, that it will detect some part well. After that, the precision will be different. But in case of muscle, the pathway is very much linear. Okay. So, what are the challenges? What are the problem? Like, what are the difficult parts that are there in case of movement, muscle movement specifically? So, how this power output is graded. That means all the actions are not should not be equal. Like all the actions by our muscles are not supposed to be equal. They have to be at of different strength. Okay. Then another is mapping actions in the coordinate system. Like if we are trying to understand it into a scientific, mechanical, or you can say an engineering perspective, so we have to map every muscle position or action in the coordinate system along with time and other things, spatial orientation. And then there is one big problem, that is synchronizing actions. It should like we are not having only one action, only one muscle movement. Like there are a combination of muscle movements. So these are some challenges in case of understanding the movement, like how these things occur, as well as if we want to replicate this muscle movement. Like if we talk about movement, this is something uh, people try in case of this robotic hand and other things. Okay, so understanding these parts are somewhat that are challenging for us and understanding. Okay, then is how to introduce non-linearity, because as I said, it is linear in nature. Okay, but in some cases we might need some non-linearity in muscle contraction. Okay, so how to introduce that part, that is also a challenge. Then uh, another thing is motor task, uh, like motor task and motor unit. In this we can say that how to differentiate between fine and coarse motor tasks. Like we are having very small movement, like just you can say like movement near the eye, inside the ear, some movement, fine movements like that, to coarse motor tasks like hitting something or stretching our hand and these things. Okay, so motor unit we can say as a single neuron connected to the multiple skeletal muscle fiber. This is the basic motor unit that is influencing power generation based on the neuron size. So one neuron connected to multiple skeletal muscle fibers. This is a single motor unit. Okay, and these motor units will differ according to the uh, task required. So for fine control, there will be different number of muscle fibers. For coarse control, that will be different. Okay, then there is something called as state maps and coordinate system. Okay, coordinate system, we know x y z coordinate system. Okay, but along with that, the state, the present state of this moment. So we can map this based on the understanding that actually brain integrates the visual, sensory, and auditory input for movement control. Like we have seen that how we see, how we hear, how we smell these things, right? So based on this input, that is sense, we can say that these are our sensors, right? Sensory inputs. So brain integrates all of this, and then according to that, movement control is there. Okay, so according to this, there will be state maps, or we can say a position uh, or a orientation that represents the environment, that is the present case, like outside, what is the light, what is the sound, what is the temperature, such kind of things. Okay, then the position of the body, spatial position, and auditory input. Okay, based on this, eh, state maps are created. So one state with all these parameters fixed, another state with some changes. So it is how the body movement is represented in coordinate system using state maps. Individual sensation uh, changes state maps, and that's why they are not interchangeable due to different representation. So you can say that the body coordinate wise, the body remains the same, but state have changed. That means some environmental change is occurring, then the state will be different from the previous one, and they are not interchangeable due to different representatives. So changing any one parameter like visual, sensory, or auditory also changes the state map. The body might not change, but the state map change. Fine till here, or any confusion till now? Uh, So next very important task is the synchronization. How to synchronize or sync this movement. Okay. So synchronization refers to fluid movement, or we can say a very smooth movement of the motor task. Okay. It should not be jerky. It should not be, you can say, it should not be stopping in between, or it should not be non-uniform. It should be very smooth. Okay, fluid movement in motor task, and this is achieved by synchronization. So, smooth, coordinated action to accomplish tasks like picking up an object or something. This comes under synchronization. So, this process involves breaking down movements into individual muscle action and coordinating joint movement. So, this, like I am picking a object, this is not just one moment. It is combination of a lot of joint movement. Like my hands will have different joints. So individual, you can say that it is how individual actions are mapped. Okay, individual muscle actions are separated, and then these are coordinated. All of them are synchronized in the brain and spinal cord, and then the action occurs. So, what is the component of synchronization? The first component is breaking down the movement. Each task requires understand which joint to move and sequence of joint movement. Which one first, which one second, which one. But we don't put a lot of brain when we are thinking that, okay, I have to move this finger first, then that finger. It is very smooth. Okay. Then second is the mapping of the muscle. Each joint movement involves multiple muscles. Okay. So every individual muscle and the motor unit, like the related neuron, is mapped. Okay. Then duration and phase relationship. So it is not that all the movement are of same duration and same strength. Okay. So the third part is determining the duration and timing of the muscle simulation uh, for the coordinated movement. Then what is the complexity involved in motor system control? So motor system involves various level of control from reflex to high brain structure. Like we have seen how reflex occurs. Okay, so motor like movement can be due to reflex also, or due to our higher brain understanding, like thinking something, or you can say like based on some clear cut decisions also. Then these reflexes, we remember that they can be monosynaptic and polysynaptic reflexes for, as per our need, like if it is a local reflex or a distant spinal reflex, that can also vary. Then is pattern gen pattern generators in the spinal cord govern the rules of motion. So rules of motion are not decided in the brain; they are decided in our spinal cord. And higher brain structure like basal ganglia and cerebellum modulate this motor function. So you can say that what is the motor action related, that is inside the spinal cord, but with what strength it has to be done and how much time and these things, these are decided by the basal ganglia and cerebellum. Okay, so what are the brain structures associated in synchronizing this movement? That is, first is frontal lobe. This is for high level tasks and judgment, such as locating the object and determining action. So this will be based on our sensory inputs. Then is the premotor cortex. This coordinates action based on higher level. So frontal lobe have high level task judgment. Then it goes to premotor action that coordinates the motor actions, and then is the motor cortex that actually executes the motor command controlling specific muscle group for precise movement. Okay, so this is how this synchronization occurs. But this synchronization also need a control unit, we can say, or fine tuning. Okay, and that is done by the cerebellum. This compares motor command with the sensory feedback to adjust movement. Like this is a feedback mechanism. For fine tuning, the cerebellum does a feedback mechanism through our sensory inputs and all. Like we have touched something, we are able to feel it, and then uh, how much strength has to be put or not put, that part. Then basal ganglia that have the role of modulating this motor function by comparing action with internal models or providing feedback. So this is the uh, cerebellum is the one which receives the difference. Then basal ganglia is something that execute the feedback. Okay, so both these structures, cerebellum and basal ganglia, contribute to fine-tuning motor control with cerebellum, influencing this spinal. Since motor control is mostly from spinal cord. Okay, but uh, how to execute it or when to execute, these are controlled by higher brain structure like cerebellum, frontal lobe, basal ganglia, and premotor cortex. Okay, fine till here.
Yes, sir.
So then comes the function of a spinal cord in this whole process. So spinal cord is which receives instruction from the motor cortex and cerebellum. So higher brain structure. I am saying higher brain structure in the sense uh, in the like brain structure mostly we are able to think and decide. Spinal cord is something like that has some fixed func- functions. There is no decision making is not much there. Okay, so receives the instruction from motor cortex and cerebellum. Then it plays a very important role in transferring the information to like from brain to our muscles. Okay, so the role is very crucial. Okay, so like the tasks include activating the spine reflex mechanism, adjusting tone and posture, coordinating movement to maintain the equilibrium. We have seen that how we know our balance and these things in the previous class, right? How we were able to know, like how we were balancing our body, know the balance of our body. Do you remember? I think we covered in the previous week, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So
But
what is the
how to they said that vestibule some balance the signal will be going, but
yeah.
how it is executed we didn't cover. I think.
Yeah, so we saw that how uh, our body balance is understood, but we didn't see that how what happens if the balance is like we are in unbalanced condition. Then certainly our body will try to balance it, right? Our body will try to balance our structure, and when balancing, like these muscles will certainly have a role, right? It cannot be just based on the what you say like from the ear this structure cannot control the whole body itself, it cannot balance. Okay, so this is done by the movement. Just then the next function of spinal cord is integration of the motor commands. Okay, motor cortex and cerebrum transmit data to the spinal cord for execution. Okay, but it is not just this much that like suppose moving the hand is our if I have to just move the hand, it is not that my whole body will remain stiff and I will just move this hand. Moving the hand will also include some other posture change as well as maintaining the balance of the body. Like when I am moving the hand, along with that, my this shoulder is also moving. My head will move a bit to maintain the posture as well as maintain the balance. Okay, so now this is all done in the spinal cord, like maintaining the posture. And so the spinal cord execute adjustment through hardwired spinal reflexes. Like when I am moving something like this, so one movement will actually have some reflex action over other muscles, and this is done by the spinal reflexes, ensuring very smooth and coordinated movement. Okay, you try to put your body stiff and just try to move uh, one thing, you will see that whatever you do, there are some reflexes associated, and your other part of the body will also show some movement. That is through the spinal reflexes to maintain the body posture and other. Okay. Then is the task segmentation and the motor control, like we saw in case of synchronization also. So frontal lobe actually breaks down the task into logical steps and assesses safety and necessity. Okay. Then what happens if there is some problem in the frontal lobe? Okay. If frontal lobe is affected, then there can be some problem in the sequential task execution. Like some part can be there, then you can feel some jerk in the movement, like it will not be smooth, some unnecessary movement or some missing movements. Okay. Then the uh, second thing is that pre-cortex further divides this task into subtasks, contributing to coordination and motor planning. So like the whole task of doing some motor movement is like finely divided and taken control by this motor units, specific motor units. Okay. So this role of pattern generators is uh, also in the spinal cord. Generators within the spinal cord enable very interest small and intricate tasks like walking. Okay. A complex sequence of actions of simultaneous performance of different tasks is also done by using this pattern generation. Like when walking, we don't think too much, but if you see, there are a lot of movements occurring in just walking. Okay. This all are controlled by pattern generators within the spinal cord. Okay. Task map and pattern generators work together, providing uh, innate abilities like which are there from our childhood, like walking and talking. Okay. Then there are some disorders related to the brain circuitry involving this movements. Okay. Like if we have there is some problem with the basal ganglia, there is some dysfunction that leads to movement disorders like Parkinson disease, where like the person can have shaky hands without any reason. The movement can be shaky, or you can say that's not a very smooth movement, not synchronized. Then this is a very common disease, right? Then Huntington chorea and dystonia, tremors, change in emotion, difficulty in walking, and choreiform movements are like are the result of this basal ganglia dysfunction. Okay. So basal ganglia is a very important part, which if have some problems, that will lead to a movement disorder, like a lot of movement disorders. So uh, understanding this basal ganglia circuitry, how it controls the movement, and this helps us correlate disease manifestation with brain anatomy and function. Right. So, any questions still here?
No, sir. Well, when we go to these questions, we will
Questions?
see.
Yeah, we will cover that. Okay. Now let's come to our basic question: what primarily implements movements in humans? Nervous system, endocrine system, skeletal muscle, or cardiovascular system?
Sir, I think it is nervous system only.
uh, Implements movement. Skeletal muscles, like I said, the primary implementation of movement. Nervous system controls it.
Okay, 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 sir.
Yeah. So
It is muscles only when they put that hyperpolarization of the
yeah,
muscles.
the muscles will actually implement the movement. The brain will not move this part. The final implementation is through muscles only. It is controlled by our nervous system. Right. Then, what causes muscle activation in response to a signal within a neuron? the electrical changes, hormonal release, blood flow, or oxygen level. Neuron have some signal, and it is trying to activate a muscle. What changes will be
It
there?
is, electrical
Electrical
changes.
change. Yes, because muscle activation is caused by electrical changes, like we have already studied depolarization, specifically depolarization within the muscle that will lead to uh, muscle activation,
Muscle contraction.
contraction. Yeah. So, what is the pathway from neuron to muscle contraction described? As? Is it linear, circular, complex, or non-existent?
It may be circular. No, means it will round or complex. Go a feedback system actually.
Yeah, but feedback is not between neuron and muscle. Is there any feedback between the neural and muscle? Like, remember we talked about it is one-way path. There is no two-way path from neuron to muscle to muscle.
But sir, there is another feedback control system is there that will take this.
Yeah, that is like our sensory inputs going to our higher brain, higher nervous system. Then from there,
Then,
and we are talking about only this part,
then I
neuron
think
to
it is
muscle. It is linear in sense because we don't have a any circular like no returning path. Whether this muscle movement has occurred or not, we that or even if you are not seeing, not feeling at all, if you remove all your sensory organs like vision, hearing, touch, nothing is there. Will you be able to understand? Like sometimes it is there, no, that our uh, hand is numb, like we are not able to feel the touch here, okay, and you are not seeing anything there. Will you be able, like, will you automatically be able to understand that some movement has occurred or not? That's not possible in our body. Yeah, because we don't have an internal feedback system or circular system. How it is understood, that is through other sensory organs, and then the feedback, the next part, the next execution is again through the sensory organ understanding from higher nervous system, and then another command. Okay, so the
Okay,
path between neuron. Yes, yes. There
linear
is some
only.
noise from your side. Yeah, can you say it again?
Then it is linear only, sir. I think.
Yes, that is linear between, when we are talking about between neuron to muscle, it is linear in nature. Huh? No, 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 it should not be just this much. Wait, wait, wait. Uh, the many questions. I think it is not synced.
It has come, sir, but only problem 3. You can go to next slide.
Yeah, now it has come. I think it was not synced. Yeah, yeah, this part was not yet synced. So now we have understood that there is this path is linear, right? So how is this? How we can implement the non-linearity in muscle contraction through hormonal regulation, by altering neurotransmitter release, via recruitment of motor units, or through vascular changes.
I think altering neurotransmitter release that control the depolarization. Is it true?
Yeah, it is partial, we can say, not complete. We want, since it is very linear in nature, so like I discussed in the summary also. So if you have one complete muscle structure, okay, and you are giving all one signal to all of them, they will respond equally. we want some non-uniform output. So how can we do it? That we divide it, right? This part will have different signal. This like if smaller parts will have different level of different signals, then can we achieve some non-linear output from here?
So you meant to say that is C, yeah? Motor units, small units.
Motor units. And what are the motor units? Motor units is neuron connected to motor fibers.
Okay, sir, understood.
Right? So this is how non-linear movement is there. If we have all the moment of the same value, then it will be throughout linear. But if it is in small parts with different intensity, we can say that we can achieve some non-linear muscle contraction. Then again, what differentiates fine motor tasks from coarse motor tasks? Speed of movement, complexity of movement, amount of control required, or muscle strength involved.
I think amount of control required.
Control required. Fine motor tasks require more control than coarse motor tasks. Like doing some small works, it will need a very precise control. So then, as I was saying, motor unit. What is a motor unit? A single muscle fiber, group of neuron, a single neuron with connected muscle fiber, or a bundle of blood vessels.
I think it is a single neuron and its connected muscle
Okay,
fibers.
muscle fiber. This is what is a motor unit. This is the smallest motor control that we can get. Single neuron, like below single neuron, certainly there will be nothing, right? So one single neuron, I am drawing like this only. Okay, this is a neuron. Let us assume I am not drawing it well, and then there are say some muscle fibers connected to it. So this is the smallest possible motor control unit. Fine.
Fine, sir.
How does this brain integrates input for movement control?
I think it is B via visual and auditory inputs.
Auditory inputs. Like this is input for movement control, that is taking the understanding what has happened and then processing it again, that is via visual and auditory input, or we can say through our senses. What is the purpose of state maps in movement control? It is to store memories, to regulate body temperature, to update sensory information, or to represent the environment and body.
I think it is D, no? Maps are represent the environment and body.
Body. So state maps are generated to represent the environment and body, and then this aids in the movement control. Why are individual state maps not interchangeable? Like some time back we were saying this, the individual maps are not interchangeable. They are distinct from each other. Is it due to the brain complexity, or it is due to maintain spatial orientation, to prevent confusion, or to enhance sensory perception?
I think to maintain spatial orientation. Uh,
Because these individual state maps are not interchangeable for maintaining the spatial orientation and differentiating between external space, body representation, and auditory input. Like I said, body might be at the same spatial orientation, okay, but other factors might change. That is why these two state maps will be different and cannot be interchanged, right? What is the challenge in mapping joint movement to an Euclidean coordinate system, like the normal coordinate system x, y, z we talked about? Why is it not possible that we are saying we are putting our joint movements in this system? What is the problem with it, or what is the challenge in it? Is it due to
I think mapping will join moments to 3D space or
so? Is challenging due to need of translating internal joint moments in a 3D space, right? Because there are some not just XYZ, there are some spherical joint movements also, like a ball and socket movement here, right? These things are difficult to map in a Euclidean coordinate system. Then, what is synchronization in context of movement? Achieving maximum speed in movement, ensuring fluid and coordinated movement, performing complex movement without practice, or maintaining a rigid posture during movement.
I think it is these are ensuring fluid and coordinated movement.
Coordinated movement. And why not D?
A rigid posture during movement. There
Yeah,
is no need of organization. Uh,
yeah. And is it that when we are doing some movement, we maintain a rigid posture? Like when we are moving our hand, is it that the whole body except for hand will remain rigid?
it may not be rigid, no, sir. It is
Yeah, because
moving with.
there are spinal reflexes that will actually move other uh, related movement to maintain the posture. Okay, so this is in fact incorrect, right? So it is to ensure fluid and coordinated movement only. What do pattern generators in spinal cord govern? Rules of motion, muscle strength, reflex action, sensory feedback.
I think must be reflex action.
Fine. Pattern generators determine the reflex action, but how like how is it mapped with muscle movement?
Must be through sensory feedback.
That when sensory feedback comes, uh, it cannot be reflex action, right? Reflex action is without
I'm saying after reflex action, it get the feedback through the sensory feedback. Whether movement is really happened, how much is happened, how much has to be corrected. Those information comes to here another sensory feedback.
pattern generators, specifically in spinal cord, have the uh, rules of motion in them. Okay, like uh, like I said,
I,
if I am moving this, this movement is fine. This is when I am moving this hand like this. It is you are able to see my video, right?
no, sir. No problem, sir.
Okay,
I understand. Source of
okay.
motion only
Like yeah,
to calculate the acceleration and how much displacement it will come. Like that, acceleration, velocity, all those things are playing a role here.
yeah,
It is calculating the displacement. Say, for
yeah,
example, A to B, how much distance is, how much velocity to move.
yeah.
All those things are calculated from this rules of motion.
Yes, as well as like when we are moving, say we are moving, we have got an a command from our central nervous system to move our hand in some motion. Okay, but just moving the hand like that will actually involve the movement of other muscle, other supporting muscles also, right? So these rules they are through the pattern generators, that the coordination, how the movement, the final movement is there, the targeted movement we know, but along with that, what other things have to be done? Okay, the peripheral rules, we can say that is from the pattern generators in the spinal cord. Then is which brain structure is responsible for high-level task and judgment in motion? Cerebellum, from premotor cortex, basal ganglia, or frontal lobe?
Frontal lobe, sir. That just now we said, no, frontal lobe is the
Yeah,
high level.
high-level uh, task and judgment in movement, such as locating object, determining actions. So now you remember that why we were discussing that all this visual and auditory information goes to frontal lobe, right? When we were studying this, yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
we saw that everything was going to the frontal lobe. Now you understand that this is the center where all the sensory inputs are going, and based on that, this high level task and judgment of movement that is taking place. So if we think this brain and this connection as a like unit of a machine, then it will, like, we can understand that okay, why every information is going there only, because that is the part where this all these informations will be compiled and then some task has to be done. What role does the cerebellum play in movement synchronization? Is it to compare motor commands with sensory feedback, modulating motor functions based on internal models, executing motor commands for specific muscle groups, or initiating reflex action in response to stimuli?
I think it is C, sir. Executing motor commands for specific muscle.
It is to no, it is the feedback part, cerebellum, where it is comparing the
Mainly
motor
feedback.
command with the sensory feedback. In the frontal lobe, all the sensory feedback comes. Okay, then eh, from the cerebellum, it compares the motor commands with the sensory feedback to adjust movement precision and ensure smooth execution. Fine.
Okay, okay, sir.
What is the primary function of pattern generator in the spinal cord? Comparing motor commands with sensory feedback, governing the rules of motion, initiating reflex action, modulating motor function based on internal models.
I think both primary function
Of
uh,
pattern generator.
in the spinal cord. I didn't cover that one, but I think it
Yeah.
is.
But we
He said
we just saw this, no?
motion, both
Yeah.
are there.
It is the same question, just rephrased. Pa- pat- Pattern generation determine the rules of motion, right?
Okay,
Pattern
okay, same.
generators, same question, just it is a rephrased question of that.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. So there can be sometimes there are answers given in another question itself. So
And then
like
like more questions like that, it is fine. 10 questions, then
yeah,
50%.
what happens to the center of gravity? We are talking about the center of gravity of our body. When reaching for an object away from the body, the center of gravity remains unchanged. It shifts to accommodate the moment. It becomes lighter, it becomes heavier.
I think as per our understanding of physics, it
Hmm.
must be shifts to accommodate the movement. Otherwise, it will not.
Yes. And becoming lighter or heavier has no relationship with the center of gravity, right? That is something else, right? So, when reaching for an object, the center of gravity shifts to accommodate the motion, necessitating. That's why I said that other tone and posture of the body is also changed, so that uh, the body remains in equilibrium. We don't fall, right? Which brain
Yes.
region is responsible for breaking down tasks in logical steps and assessing safety and necessity? Motor cortex, cerebrum, frontal lobe, premotor cortex.
That must be the premotor cortex.
Sure.
Otherwise, it's cerebellum only. You said no, all motor things will be.
breaking down into logical steps. Okay, like we can say
High,
senses go to
high,
frontal lobe, cerebellum, then frontal lobe, and then again to motor units.
but movements divided should be premotor cortex. No?
But
Okay, okay,
breaking
okay,
down of task, premotor cortex is certainly having a role. Like here, premotor cortex will be there in the pathway, but before reaching to the premotor cortex, that uh,
okay.
task is already divided, or we can say already broken down into part. Okay, as logical steps that include safety and determine necessity before further division into subtasks. This is done in the frontal lobe. Patients with frontal lobe dysfunction can have difficulty with identifying objects, sequential task execution, maintaining posture, or controlling tremors.
I think sequential task
Task
execution.
execution. Yes, since that is how where actually the sequential task is divided logically. The task is divided in logical sequences. So it will have the person suffering from frontal lobe dysfunction will have problem in sequential task execution. Which brain structure is primarily associated with movement disorders like Parkinson disease, cerebellum, motor cortex, basal ganglia, or frontal lobe?
That is basal ganglia, sir. In your
Basal ganglia.
summary, you said.
Yes. So basal ganglia dysfunction is associated with movement disorder like Parkinson disease. That is why it is having a crucial part. Basal ganglia is having a crucial role in movement control. Fine. So
Yes, sir.
that's all for this lecture. Any questions you are free to ask.
Nothing, sir. Actually, I'm attending from Kerala. I
Okay,
am
okay.
here for.
Some work
Thank you.
related. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Because here is very hot. I don't know. Maybe
yeah.
some 5 degrees. Kerala, no. Kerala goes 33, 30.
Oh,
But
then it's
now it,
fine. That is the normal temperature here. Here it
yeah, yeah,
is going
Kerala
to,
actually. It is near
yeah,
to our equator.
yeah.
So, and lot of forestation is there. Lot of greeneries are there.
Green. Yeah, Kerala is having in
Very hot.
Rajasthan. You can say at present we are experiencing 39, 40 degrees.
40 degrees, huh?
40
39,
degrees.
sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Nowadays it's coming up to 40 also in Kerala. That's what I
Okay.
scared. Normally it is 33.
Yeah, but at least there will be some moisture.
Some near by away from the sea, some Palakkad near to Tamil Nadu border may come 40. But
Yes,
normal average is around 33 only. But nowadays it's increasing. I don't know why.
increasing. Yeah. Uh, it is having moist environment also, like a lot of
Yeah, very
sweaty environment. Yeah, very
because
sweaty.
we have 44 rivers, small rivers and lakes.
Yeah,
So many
yeah.
lakes,
I
so
have
many.
been to Kerala.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Where's that Munnar?
Hello. Yeah,
Munnar only.
yeah. Like uh, I don't remember much uh, during my college days. We went there.
Okay. But you have to come in the rainy season. Rain also very heavy, very enjoyable.
Very, very heavy.
Okay, sir. Then
Okay.
thank you. Thank
So
you very much.
that's all.
So
Thank you.
next class on Tuesday, no, sir. Okay.
Yeah, next class is on Tuesday, and I think on 18th, that is Thursday, we will again have one class.
Next
On
Thursday also we have class, sir.
no on 16th, that is Tuesday, we will have one class, and then on Thursday also we will have class.
Sir, actually Thursday we have another class, another
Okay,
course.
not an issue. That's not a compulsory. No,
Uh,
just
change.
the recording will supplement.
Thursday or Friday? Anything
Yeah.
possible?
Because what date I was given was 18,
Okay.
and after 16 I was getting 18 only.
Okay. So
Yeah, like
this
the
Thursday we finish everything. No? Next Thursday.
no, next Tuesday we will have week 11. After that we will have week 12, and then
Okay.
after that on Thursday we will have one class.
That means next Tuesday. That is on I think some 9th. Next class
Yeah,
is on 9th.
9.
Then
Yes. Then
Thursday
on
11th also.
not 11. I think just a minute. Uh, uh, Let me just check. Hmm, just a minute. Yeah. Yeah. On 9th we have class. 16th we have class. Then 18th we have a class.
Once more, sir, I didn't hear. 9th we
Uh,
have class.
yes.
Then
Then
11th
6.
also.
11th, not 11th. 16th
Okay, okay, then fine.
and
Then fine.
then 18th.
Okay, okay, sir. Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay.
If 18s can be changed to 19, it is very fine.
But NPTEL has given me the last date as 18 only.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, sir.